Hello, welcome to White Davy Gardening in Worm Farm. This is my outdoor worm bin, the upper level. So I'm just checking on it to see how it's doing. How it's doing and if it needs to be watered. It is moist, but I think I'm gonna give them a little bit more water. I can see the worms are spreading out because I didn't have any worm in this region. So that's good, they're spreading out. I don't have a thick layer of them in here, but yeah, this portion definitely could use some more moisture. I know I have way too much eggshells in here. What's the matter with you, Wormy? Okay, so I just removed the covers because I want to check on them and water them. They seem to be okay. Let's see what's going on with this June plum here. Oh, look at the amount of them on this mango seed. They're not doing much with this June plum. I don't know if it is because it is sour. Oh, look at them on this mango. Okay, so they don't seem to be doing much with the June plum, although I can see a group of them there underneath it, so I'm gonna put it back. I think maybe because the June plum is sour by nature, which means that it will be acidic. Okay, so these guys are doing okay. So I'm just gonna get them ready to get some water because some of the bin is a little too dry. No matter how hard you try, you always end up with some amount of plastic in the worm bin, and I can't figure out why, because I would think I'm very careful in stripping off any plastic that I see on papers and stuff like that, and any paper that I suspect to be coated with a thin layer of plastic, if it's shiny or anything like that, I don't put it in the worm bin, but plastic always seems to find its way in. So this is the worm bin on the lower tier. I just looked at it and I don't know if you can make out those pathways and then the hole right there, so I know that there's a mice going in here for the food scraps. So what I've decided to do with this bin is to feed these outdoor bins in containers. They are enjoying the mango but not the June plum. So it's to feed these bins by putting the food scraps in containers rather than putting it directly into the bin, because I don't want the mice getting in there, and if the mice are eating the food scraps, they're going to be killing whatever worms are on the food scraps that they're eating. This bin is fairly moist. One, it is shaded by the bin above, and two, when I'm watering the garden, because it is just 2 feet away from the garden, so a lot of the water would spray over in here. And then when I water the upper worm bin, the water, when that worm bin gets sufficient moisture, then the rest of it will drain down. So this bin is fairly moist, and that is good. It is rather hot, but it is very windy. So because it is windy, it's not too bad. The temperature in the worm bin feels pretty good. It's cool, so that's good. But then the amount of layers of cardboard that I have covering this bin and the amount of papers that I have in here, it's kind of hard for the bin not to be cool. I can tell that the bottom of this bin, the upper level, is under stress. Because look at it. The poor board that supports the middle is under serious stress as well. So I think after I finish harvesting the worms from this bin in the fall, I'm going to be putting up a bit more support. So about 2 more support, but this time it won't go along the length, it will go along the width of the board so that it can offer support to this support system. Yeah, so that's another project that I'm gonna have to work on. Now let's see what's going on in here. Okay, some of the water from the garden when I was watering got in here, so it is a bit damp on the top, but the material is a little bit too dry. And I guess that means I won't be seeing any worm close to the top because it is too dry. Okay, I can see a few of them. Okay, so I'm gonna have to give this one some water too. I have been so busy these days, I'm not getting to water them as often as I would like, but at least I know that they have a reasonable amount of moisture so they can survive. This bin is very dry on the surface. Even the garlic that is growing there is dying, but underneath it is wet. It is so windy. So I have to make sure that the bin gets a thorough watering. I wonder how the worms are doing in here. What rate are they reproducing at? Are they doing better than when they were in the garage? With these outdoor bins, especially around the edges, you want to make sure you give it sufficient water because that's the portion that dries out first. Always the edges. So this bucket is the one that I added the scrap meat to. All the meats that went bad because they were in the fridge too long, and then I had some compost on it, so this bucket was full. So let's see what's going on in here. Oh, we've got flies and we've got ants. The volume is going down pretty fast though, so that's nice. I don't know if any worms are in here. I would really like to dig in and find out, but because I have fish in there, I don't want any of that bone sticking me, so I'm not gonna find out. As long as the material is being eaten, it is all good. Okay, I think the bin has enough water now because the water is running out. Now I'm watering the upper bin. can see that the cardboards around the edges, they are very dry. Way too much eggshell in this bin. All of those white particles that you're looking at there and brown particles, all of those are eggshells. Okay, so let's get this hose over to the compost bin to water it while I cover back this. So now I'm satisfied. All my worm bins have been watered. Oh, that one is gathering some water. I guess it will eventually soak through. I have a lot of cardboards covering these worm bins, so I don't mind them getting soaked, because then it means that they will be drying out faster than the worm bin, so more moisture for the worms. And in addition to that, I have more cardboard covering the bin than I actually need. So as long as they're soaking wet, it's going to be easy for me to rip them apart and put them in containers where I'm going to be storing it to feed the worms. So if you enjoyed my video and you would like to see more, please take a moment to give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe and turn on your notification for more updates like these. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have yourself a wonderful day. Yeah man, it's time to grow.